everybody, and welcome back to Ljubljana Talks. This is already the third day of our talks, and last but not least, I have a special guest with me, Pöhlmann from Fischerappelt Live Marketing. Welcome to our improvised studio. We will talk a little bit about creativity, about our industry, but tell us first of all a little bit about yourself. How you came to the agency and what is your background?
First of all, thank you for having me. It's a real great pleasure. So I'm a creative director at Fischerappelt Live Marketing. We are one branch of the Fischerappelt Group, which is 10 agencies under one roof. And we do tell stories. We do connect brands and people, Everything you do in experience marketing mainly is about connecting people to stories, to brands, to products and stuff like that, and to really have an impactful experience. And we try to do so by mostly telling stories that really matter to people, that people can identify with, and that they can tell on their own, and that they can put their own part in. I think that's, for me, that's really important, that it's not just about the event itself, about organization, or about all the technology and stuff like that, but it's about the people attending the event and to give them a good time. So that's what we try to do.
Jumping immediately on Eurosong competition.
Okay.
It was a high-tech event on one side, am I right? The production was really on a high level.
It was.
But on the other side, it was also about content, about music actually.
Yeah.
How, did you watch the show or?
Just partly, because it's not my music, honestly.
It's not mine too, but I'm looking at this show from a professional point of view. What can you say about such shows and this difference between high-tech and high-touch?
I think having such shows is really great because they're always pushing the limits of what's possible technologically on technology side. And it's also fun to watch because you see the people in the arena having fun and all partying together, and that's what Eurovision, I think, does really, really great to give people a great time while they are in part of the show. So,
but coming back to yourself, what are you doing outside your working hours? Actually, what are your hobbies and so on? Where do you find your creativity?
Oh, this comes from totally different angles. I like to travel sometimes. I'm not that guy who needs to travel all the time, but when I do, I really like to explore the destination I go to. So not drive around and just in a car and staying in a 4-star hotel all the time. But I like to go there by foot and then explore the city, explore the spirit.
To feel it, smell it.
That's what it's about. You go into the different country to experience the people and to experience the lifestyles, and this is really inspiring for me. And
can you tell us more about the agency? I need to ask that. Why clients need your agency? What would you say?
That's a really good question. Honestly, I'm not sure if clients. Clients do need an agency, but we are not that important as we might think we are actually. But what we are really good is, as I said, connecting brands to people. So I guess that's our main selling point, that we are able to understand the client, understand his needs or its needs of the company, to analyze which markets and then which goals they are looking at, and to translate that into an experience that connects the people experiencing our events with the brand. And I think this is what really makes our work outstanding, that we create an emotional connection between people and brands, and something that the people experience always sticks more with them than just telling them something or seeing an ad or something like that. For me, live marketing, I would say, is the only only branch of communication that really does have a connection to people. Yeah. So
in Germany, how well our business is positioned inside the marketing industry. I mean, in some countries, the live marketing or experience marketing is in the bottom. You know, when some money is left, then they start to play. How it is in Germany actually? Is this actually a crucial part of the marketing and communication, or it is just something?
No, it is crucial, I would say. Also because there's so much media clutter going on. We have so many different channels on social media, so many brands and influencers and people trying to cut through all that clutter, all that noise. And that's getting more and more difficult each and every day. And then to have a real experience, foot on the ground with ambassadors of a brand and the customers coming together, experiencing something together, making a bond, and giving also customers the opportunity to then tell their own stories again through social media and to kind of tell the client's story. Yeah, I think this is very, very important. Yeah, and I would say all of our clients would agree, because otherwise they wouldn't hire us. Yeah.
Sure. Can you share some of your best projects? I mean, you're proud on, you know, and explain a little bit more about them, because I know several of them, but maybe for the audience, what is your favorite project? Yeah.
I guess my favorite project is I talked about it earlier this day too. Is the homeless gallery. That still gives me the goosebumps. We saw the film, the 2-minute film on the project earlier that day, and it still gave me goosebumps because it was so emotionally touching. Just to tell the audience, we did a project for a Hamburg street magazine, which is sold by homeless people on the streets of Hamburg. And it's called Hinz und Kunst. And they had their 30th anniversary last year, and they didn't have any money to celebrate, and they didn't want to celebrate in a usual way, but they wanted to do something for their people selling their magazine on the streets. And so we came up with the idea of having 30 people, because 30th anniversary, telling their life stories, and we translated it into art with the help of AI. And then we took the art and created a gallery that then was shown in the streets where the homeless people actually
By the way, that was the winner of Grand Prix at the PIA Awards. Just to give you explanation what we are talking about. So #1 event in the world. Yeah. Oscar. Yeah. of the Oscars of the industry. Yeah. Amazing project, really.
Thank you very much. And for me, this is a one-of-a-kind event that I'm not sure if we can ever pull something like that off again. So that's why I'm really proud of it. And because of all the people that were involved, because it's not just an event format, but it started as a communication campaign by our colleagues from our different agencies in our group. And we all came together and contributed our part to make it as big as possible with almost no money. So everything we did was, first of all, no budget. And then we tried to somehow make the money by selling the art, auctioning off the art at the Hamburger Kunsthalle. And we also were very glad to have known artists like Jonathan Mese or Hamburg street artist Frank Fortress to contribute with their own artworks to the auction. And so we were able to make some more money than we would have with
Do you believe that with less money the creativity is better? Is this true, or it's?
I would say it depends. It depends. Thing is, as event guys, we are used to play with big technology. You know, lights, moving LEDs, kinetic installations, a lot of things that really make something big. And it's easy to come up with ideas like that, but to be restricted, you have to completely change your mind, to completely focus on other areas. So first thing, of course, you know you don't have money, but you will have to spend money. That's always the case, but you have to think differently.
I watched some other projects of your agency and of your creative team. Content is always there. Always content is in front. So is content still a king, or something will replace it, or you know?
It depends on who you will ask in our agency, because. As I said, Fischerappelt is a group of agencies, so we were born as a PR agency, and we, of course, PR is still the main thing because this is our biggest part of the agency, and they, of course, do quite a lot of content. If you ask the event guys, then it's not content first, but experience first, and then you automatically generate content from it. So if you have people experiencing something, having a great day, great evening, a great show, whatever, something they can immerse themselves in, then you will automatically generate content afterwards. But for us, it's mostly not what comes first. Of course, there are briefings that say we want to have that certain outcome, but usually it's experience first.
We heard a lot about different formulas for success in experience marketing, from agile approach to many other things. But what is your formula for creating a successful experience? And how do you do this in a democratic way, or at the end you decide?
No.
This is the question too.
I would say the formula is just to be as open-minded as possible and to let any idea that comes to the table shine, and then looking at it from different angles in terms of, does it fit the customer's needs, does it fit the audience's needs, what's the message behind it, and stuff like that. Does it fit in the overall strategy a client wants to achieve, and then to wait if it's a good idea or not. But for the creative process, you have to be as open-minded as possible, and that's why I am, as a creative director, usually let my team do, because I know they are good at what they do. I do have certain opinions, and I bring them to the table, and I sometimes know a client better than any other person, but it doesn't help if I'm the one that goes from the beginning, like, we have to do this, and that, because then you cut certain ideas.
That's really interesting, you know. So quite flat organization then at the end of the day.
It is,
Coming to automotive events, you are doing a lot of that. Well, now we have electric cars. Is anything changed now in doing, I don't know, world premiere of electric car, or how it goes now? If the car producer comes to you and say, okay, we have electric car, and petrol heads are a little bit nervous, and it's not an old school way, but how do you approach that?
I would say that you have to plan a more sustainable event overall. It used to be like the last years that you had a driving event, let's say, for electric cars, and you went to a destination and there were no chargers at all, or too little. And you then brought diesel generators to charge the cars overnight, and then present it to the press or to the dealers.
Really low, huh?
Yeah. And I would say now you have to have a real good look at which destination you're going to and what's the infrastructure there to really fulfill the promise of electric cars, that they have a lower CO2 footprint, and then organize the whole event around it. Yeah.
It's interesting. Coming back to the pitching, is this also different now than it was, I would say, before Corona? Is this well organized in Germany in a way that, I don't know, they just invite free agencies for a pitch, or this is a shopping around, or they are paying agencies for work involved? I mean, you're investing a lot of time and energy to create a pitch, and frankly speaking, it is fair that somebody is paying for your time. how it is in Germany. Yeah.
Honestly, most pitches aren't paid at all, and also the timings are sometimes they tend to get shorter and shorter and shorter. When I started, like I don't know, 17, 18 years ago, we had like 4 to 6 weeks for an event. And nowadays, an event of that size, of the same size, sometimes only has 2 to 3 weeks.
Which is not really a lot.
Which is not a lot, but also the production, I would say, changed a lot. Back then, we didn't have that fast computers. We didn't have the help of technology. It's only like 15 years ago, but doing a rendering then was like, okay, we let it render overnight. We then have a tiny picture that hopefully fits to the screen. And if you wanted to do any changes, you had to wait another night. And then nowadays it's like you press a button and you get a rendering.
Rendering something where AI can really help us. I mean, a lot of agencies is using that, just to play with the space a little bit, and it fastens the process maybe.
For us, our architects usually don't use AI for generating a room, but it helps for certain mood pictures, and then for if you want to grasp the character of an event, to just prompt something and have a look at what it might look like, that's really helpful.
Well, let's look around.
Oh yeah.
How would you design this event? If you have a free budget, I would say.
That's a tough question.
I know it's a tough question, but what could you leave like it is? What would you change?
I would say I like some of the designs here, especially if you have a look over there. Dubai is a really great booth. I would make it more personal. I know it's all about connection, interaction here, meeting people, but here everything. That's the problem of a trade fair. Obviously, everything is lit in the same way. The whole room is lit, and you don't have those warm, inviting islands, those personal spaces. And I would say, if I could change anything, then it would be that.
Amazing. Will you surprise us at BIA Awards this year? What can we expect from your agency, from your creative team? Another award, another
hopefully
Grand Prix.
I don't think it will be another Grand Prix. Honestly, it was a really tough competition, and it did quite shock me that we'd won the.
You saw that, But so, you were non-stop on the stage, so
couldn't stop. At one time, the hosts were like, "No, you don't go back to your places. You stay right here because we think we might come back." That was quite a fun. I mean, getting an award would be great for us, for our projects, for our clients. But most importantly, I think what really is awards are a great opportunity are that you can see all the creativity from different countries, different agencies. You get new impressions, new inspiration. And the exchange from creative minds, this is what really stands out for me when visiting an award.
So do you believe that these awards are important for agencies? I think they are, but what is your opinion?
They are in certain ways. As I said, meeting people, getting inspiration, getting to know what the industry does at the moment. Because usually you are in your daily business. You don't look left or right. Sometimes you see something in the press where you say, oh, that's a great project. But I'm not the one going actively on the hunt for inspiration or a great project. So being there and having the opportunity to have a look at like 100 projects at one time and seeing all the great creativity, that really stands out for me.
When you have a crazy idea, which is a little bit out of the box, I would say, out of the comfort zone, how do you convince the client to go for it? Do you present ABC?
No. Usually I don't do so because when you present an idea, you have to be convinced that this idea really is the best for the client. And when you're not convinced, you will not convince the client. So for me, that's one main point, not to come up with too many options. Of course, if you have a motto, a claim, whatever, you can give them variations. But if you have a great idea, you should stick with that. But then, of course, you also have to look at what does the client actually need, and does it fit the tonality of the client?
Is it functional?
Is it functional? Yeah, right.
More crazy and so
Yeah.
on.
And sometimes you have clients that are daring, that want something completely new, something never was done before. But they're rare. So most of the time you have to look at the client and have a look at what would fit best for them, what is most suitable, and how do we achieve something that still surprises, but within the boundaries a certain brand or a certain strategy has. Yeah.
I always finish this discussion with a strange question. Who is, in your opinion, the biggest event organizer in the world?
The biggest event organizer in the world.
This is a tricky question.
This is a tricky question.
What would you say?
I honestly can't answer that because there's so many great agencies around there.
Red Bull. I'm joking. a little bit.
Sorry.
Red Bull is the biggest event organizer in the world. Am I right? Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that.
You do?
Yeah.
Actually, they are not selling drinks, but they are actually doing what you are also doing, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And, of course, we have some fire questions for you at the end. Mm-hmm. One is, of course, car or train?
I would say train, but in Germany with Deutsche Bahn, it's difficult sometimes
it's not so
to get there in time.
Precise anymore, no?
And because I do have an electric car, I would say car in that case. Yeah.
And coming back, usually we finish with that. Sustainability, of course, I forgot about it. Mm-hmm. That was also a buzzword during these 3 days. How do you touch this topic actually in your agency? Is this important for your clients?
It is.
For automotive it is. And how do you measure the impact of your events at the end of the day?
It's quite important for us. We do have our own task force that strives to have a look at all the projects we do and see the potential, what we can do better, how we can achieve certain things in a better, more environmental friendly way. Right now we don't have certain measurements in place, but I guess this will be something that we will do in the future. But we do have clients and we do have projects where you hand in a concept. We're right now doing the fan zone for the European Championships in Berlin. Mm-hmm. And the concept was like 350 pages. I would say 250 of those were how are we sustainable and most diverse and stuff like that. And the creative part was smaller than the rest of it. So it's getting more and more important. And we as a event business certainly do have quite a lot of work to do to get better. And we do have, I think all the tools right now, all the technologies to do something better.
Christian, thanks for being our guest. That was an amazing discussion. Once again, congrats for the award last year. And
thank you.
We are looking forward for future. And thanks for watching us. Yep. Stay tuned and power to the meetings.
Thank you for having me.